tried to get out, and the time was now.
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. I am your co-host, Justin Sakarica. We've got the Bean behind the scene, Daryl Bean, back in the saddle again today. As you know, he was on vacation last episode, but now he's back in our clutches. And on today's episode, Paul Pipitone is off doing some mafia business, but no fear, because sitting to my left is my good friend, fellow comedian, and neighbor, the very lovely Elena Gonzalez. Elena, thank you so much for being on here to save the day.
Thanks for having me. And it's so fun that it's not just a nice little colloquial term. It's legitimate neighbor. I'm like just over, I mean, the viewers can't see, but I'm just over there.
Yeah, I'm a very loud individual, and I'm sure sometimes when I have a conversation with a relative, Elena's like, Justin, shut the fuck up, I can hear you a half mile away. So
I'm a small child, if you could keep it down, we're doing bad time.
Yes, I actually got yelled at the taco hop I went to a few weeks ago because I had too much beer, and the lady at the taco stand was like, sir, you got to bring it down from a 10 to a 7.
Yelled at the taco hop I feel like that's the name of your autobiography.
Absolutely, yes. Yelled at the taco hop. The tragic story of Justin Sakarica. Yes. But that was a great time, though. But what have you been up to, Elena? What's been going on in the comedy world with you?
Oh, that's the professional term. It's there's a lot. What is going on? Doing a lot more at one night stands out in Waterford. Our guest today and I spent a big chunk of the summer there hanging out with Mike Green and talking some comedy. So I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, doing a lot more. Staying more local lately, because I do have a tiny human, and we've got school and we've got stuff, so it's easier to focus on local, but things are going good.
Yes. Comedians do have lives, by the way. Yes, we do. We all do have our own personal lives going on, so yes, please be aware of that. But one thing that I've mentioned before on the podcast, actually, is you actually have a very popular show at your house that you do sometimes. A lot of the comedians like to go there because it's a really cool hangout. You know, what kind of gave you the idea to do that?
Well, it was born out of necessity, honestly, and I promise everyone who is watching and or listening, I'm not going to be that girl that just talks about my kid for 27 hours, but I'm going to mention my kid again, in that I wanted to do more comedy, and I wanted to chat with everyone and have a place, but I didn't want to keep getting a babysitter and keep worrying about logistics. And I looked into my backyard, and we were, also the pandemic was happening, and so there was a lot less venues that were doing stuff. And I looked around and I was like, I have a PA system, and I have a microphone, and I have a backyard. So why don't I see what we can do? And I kind of floated it out there to a couple comics, and they were into the idea. And so it created this workshop opportunity for us to get in the backyard. I could do it without getting a sitter. And I found on Facebook Marketplace, got a bunch of chairs so I could have friends who are non-comics come and watch. And it really kind of took off there for a while, and it was always great. We would hang out for a couple hours, give a chance to kind of work through new material, talk about what's going on, and that's the thing about comedy is you could sit in your living room and write until you're blue in the face, but until you say it into a microphone in front of somebody else, you have no idea how it's going to play. So it really kind of gave that chance in a safe space.
That's very cool, yeah. And I have attended some of those backyard shows. They're a lot of fun, and I found that a lot of like house shows and backyard shows that are produced by comedians, for comedians, they always tend to be a lot of fun. And speaking of that, I had a comedian on one of my shows last night, Louis Michael. I do want to say big thank you to Louis Michael, headliner Kevin Kramus, and special guest Ralph Tutela Jr., who came by the Rusted Crow to give that packed room an amazing show. as they always do. That show was a lot of fun last night. I actually learned this morning that there was a witch in the audience. My friend who came to watch me was like, yeah, I ran into one of my old coworkers, and by the way, she's a witch. And I was like, oh, do you mean she's a bitch? No, she's a witch, and like she casts spells and hexes. And I hope to God she enjoyed my set. I really hope she did, because I did tell my Wizard of Oz joke that involves the Wicked Witch of the West. So, yeah, if I wake up tomorrow with like warts all over me and a third leg, I know who did it. I remember your face. I know who you are. Oh man, but speaking of faces, we got, I don't want to say a fresh new face because she's been doing this for a while, but we have a face that everybody now is recognizing in the Detroit comedy scene. Our upcoming guest is simply one of the most creative and hardworking comedians that I think I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the very funny and talented Tam White. Tam, come on in here, please. Please have a seat.
And we just recently saw her face in a cup of coffee for some graphic design work.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
That she was doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I got
again,
a lot of responses about that flyer. Thanks to Nick Rowley for the artwork.
Yay, Nick.
Plug
Yes.
and plug and plug and
Nick
plug
Rowley.
anything you can. Yeah, so Tam, what's been going on? You have been working your tail off. You've got so many things going on. I swear to God, every time I go on Facebook or Instagram, I see something and there's your name on there. Like, where do you get that work ethic from?
Someone said that, and it surprises me every time because you feel like no one sees your work because we know how the algorithm is, right? And you're like, no one's going to see this, But then everyone's like, but I see it. I'm like, oh, I guess it's getting out there. Okay, what was your question again? I forgot.
Just saying. So, have you always been like so hardworking and
No.
so energetic, or is it the coffee?
It's the coffee. But Paul Pipitone, I think, told me he does 3 pots a day.
3 pots. Oh my God.
3 pots of coffee. I'm up to like 3 cups a day. I would say it's the coffee, but this is what happened. Opportunities started opening up for me this year, just out of nowhere, just started coming. Like they say, be ready. And I think it's just the timing of everything. Things just started coming and happening, and because Hip Prov been around for a minute, especially when it started virtually. But folks are just like seeing things, and they're like, "Tam, come do this. Can you do this? Can you do that?" So I think that's what it is. I am a good worker, hard worker. I don't think I grind that hard compared to some people that I see. Like everyone uses the example of T-Bar, but I don't know when she sleeps. She does a lot,
Yes.
right? And it takes a lot. And so when we see folks like that, we still never feel like we're working hard enough. So I think it's just a little bit of luck, just the timing of all the things popping up for me and happening. And I am a good hard worker, though. I do.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah. And I think it's I'm sorry, I'll let you say. I think it's because I'm a control freak, and so I don't like to hire people to do this and that and that. I'll do this and that and that, which makes me busy. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with my shows. I like to do everything because then you know exactly what's going on at every single aspect of the grind, so to speak. And you know what, too? It's like I know a lot of people do a lot of grinding. Sometimes it may not be the quantity of the grind, but the quality of the grind.
Yep.
It's how much effort you're putting into a certain project or a certain thing that you're working on.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I felt like I cut you off. I want you to say what you were going to say.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad
sorry.
that you came back to it because
Yes.
it was a compliment for you. Because I don't want you to get off so scot-free and just say that it's happening and that things are coming in, because that's not how it works. And it really is the consistency that you had put forward years ago, or months ago, or days ago, or weeks ago, however long ago it was, and that's what is now being seen. And one thing begets something else, but it's not just happening to you.
I appreciate it.
This is a great idea that you had, that you have been able to build on and take it from an idea to an execution. How did, Hip Prov is definitely getting a big spotlight right now, but how did Hip Prov come up for you?
I never thought I would say this, but I want to thank COVID-19 because, like most people's story, because of the pandemic. I thought about Hip Prov 2 years before that, and I was scared, like most people who are maybe the greatest chef in the world but don't want to open a restaurant because they don't think people will come and eat. I didn't think people would receive it or would be a big deal. I'm like, no one cares about me. I'm just lucky to get a host gig when I get one. Like that's how I was feeling. But I was missing improv because all of the improv theaters were shut down just like the rest of the world. And I was like, man, and I knew nothing about streaming online, nothing like that. But I was like, I miss improv. And so I said, I'm going to do it. And speaking of the title, I love hip hop, old school hip hop mostly, as much as I love improv. So that's how I came with the title, because I said I would just merge the two together. And I always knew that when I finally do this, I will ask my little brother in improv, my fellow cast member at Go Comedy Theater, Jake, I would ask him to be the judge, because he knows any and everything about improv. Like, he's that guy that'll call you while watching Straight Outta Compton and saying, that's not what happened. It was a Saturday when Eazy-E called AIDS. Like, Jake, because he knows all the facts, right? So I knew, and so I told him about it. It was like maybe, it was 2020, right when COVID started. And I thought about it. And then months went by. I asked Jake about it. I said, would you be on board? He said, yeah. Months went by. I was still scared and lazy about it. Jake called me and said, Tam, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? I'm ready. I'm bored. When are you going to do it? And I said, okay, Jake, I'm going to do it. So if Jake didn't call me, I wonder would I've been dragging my feet, because he was like, come on, Tam, it's a good idea. You should do it. I think he was just bored and wanted to judge some folks and be judgmental for free. So I just I taught myself how to do the online Zooming stuff, Zoom, StreamYard, and shout out to Daniel Jackson, the president of Planet Ant board, because he's a fellow improviser who knows a lot about techie stuff. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to him when I had questions, because I'm not techie at all. And so
same.
Yeah, at all. It's funny because I have a sheet this long of ideas of things that I want to do, but I know I can't do it alone, because is it technical wise? Is that a word?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, technically, yeah. Technically,
Daryl,
which is a
help
word
us
we
out
use
here.
every day.
That works.
Yeah, what's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, and it's funny because I'm a big fan of technos. I should know this word. Technically, I knew I would need some help, so that's why it's a lot of holdups on a lot of projects, because I can see things, I can see the end project, but I know, like how Daryl Bean is doing all this, I can't do that, So you're gonna need people like that. So back to the point, Daniel helped me learn different platforms, and then I created the sounds and whistles and buzzers and clips and song clips and everything. So what I did, I went forward. I posted a teaser online with a picture of me and Jake, and the response, folks were like, oh my God, when is this coming? This is going to be dope. I love it, blah, blah, blah. And then what happened was I said, I'm going to bring together improvisers and stand-up folks, because I come from both worlds, okay? I started out as improv, then got into stand-up. That's a whole different story. But I know a lot of improvisers who, I know a lot of stand-up folks who do well at this, because at the end of the day, I feel like not every improviser is a stand-up comedian,
Very true.
but every stand-up comedian is an improviser, because we've dealt with
have to be.
hecklers,
Yes.
we dealt with the mic falling to the ground, or the lights going out, or the backdrop falling. We had to improvise. So I said every week, sometimes it may be all comics, sometimes it may be all improvisers, or it may be mixed up, but that's what I decided to do for the casting. So you would just tune in and watch us on Facebook Live, and no one knew. A lot of people didn't know this, but I was the one, I had my hand on the mic, I was hosting, I was introducing, I was taking people through the games, I was back and forth with the banter, the jokes, I was listening closely, while at the same time, everything you saw on that screen that popped up or went away or shifted or made a sound or made a movement, it was me with my mouse. Wow. So I had, And so a lot of folks, like Kara Karachi, a lot of folks, they would say, Tam, this is well produced. This is like the best thing I see online, blah, blah, blah. And so I almost was in tears, because I was like, wow, this is just a little idea I had, and I'm just doing these little things, and I'm putting them up on the screen, and these folks show up. Thank you all for always showing up on time and helping me make the show successful. Because everyone really worked with me, including Jake.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It's a great feeling. Not a lot of call-offs. If it was like urgent, and I'll just find another comic to come on online. But for the most part, people were very professional. So what happened was, I never thought about, I'm like, how could I do this on stage? Like, how could this work? I never really thought about it. Then what happened was, we posted the video when Kara Karachi won. She won season 2. Then Mike Green from One Night Stands made a comment under it and said, hey, is this something that can be done in person? And then I say, yes. And he's like, well, hit me up. Planet Ant, Andy Reid at Planet Ant hit me up. Tam, you want to come do it here? I'm like, wow, people want me to come? Like, I don't have to go somewhere and say, hey, like people. So I was like, people really like this show. So that's what happened. And so now I'm about to be in my 3rd venue. I'm going to do Christmas week at Mark Ridley's, and then
Man,
Todd Michael
amazing.
Sparks of Freddy's just reached out to me 2 weeks ago and said, hey, can you come do a Halloween show at Freddy's? So I kind of have like 4 venues now. And I'll be doing, I can't announce which festival, but Hip Prov will be at a really cool comedy festival in the winter. So
She's killing it.
Yeah,
She's
so
killing it, ladies and
I just like that
gentlemen.
people enjoy, because I'm so goofy. I'm a goofy person. Like, I don't take myself seriously that way. And the fact that people buy tickets, they come. And they buy tickets to see this. I can't believe it. And I'm so grateful. And that's why at all of my shows, I have really cool Maker's Mark. Thank you, Maker's Mark. They're our partners. Really cool gifts. A record player, a plush blanket, robe, a director's chair, a bar set, bar stools, you name it, a beanbag chair. We give away swag. Some shows we give away free drink tickets, cash. We were giving away Cash App prizes. Our Cash App audience members when they were watching us virtual, because I want to show people we appreciate you. You know, we appreciate you, because there's no show without the audience.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
And I mean, I've only heard amazing things about your show. Like, literally, again, like, it's like, even before I met you, I kept hearing this name, Tam White, Tam White. I'm like, okay, she's doing something. You know, and again, that feeling of people appreciating you and knowing that you're killing it it's an undescribable feeling. Let me know what it's like, because I need to feel that.
Well,
sometime.
I'll let you know what Hip Prov is like, and if you want to know, you can come on the show if you want to.
Oh, I'd love to. Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, and again, just that, like, the Hip Prov show, in my opinion, is one of the most creative ideas that we have in the scene right now. Because there are a lot of very creative shows, but that one just kind of like really, it's so unique. And one thing I wanted to ask you, number one, which local comedian is on your wish list to be on there? And then which famous comedian is on your wish list to be on there? Maybe they're watching, you have no idea.
Okay, so local comedian wish list, I already got that person. I had Josh Adams. It was hard to get him. He was always busy. And I think around the virtual time, he wasn't doing a lot of virtual things at that time. And I finally got him. The last One Night Stand show had him. Oh my God. It was almost like the Josh Adams show, not the Hip Prov show. And it's not even one of those things. You have some people who come on and they want to be, they want to be the big man on the show. It's all about them. It's not even like that, because if you guys know what he's like, you understand. It can't help but be about him. He's so funny, and everything he said, and the timing, and the commentary throughout the show, and the crowd was loving it. We were loving it, which, by the way, which is why he's coming back as one of the All-Stars on our All-Star show. I'm making the debut at Mark Ridley's Be the All-Star show. And I haven't announced the cast yet, but he's one of them. Like, he was the
Very
first
cool.
one I asked.
Very
that's
cool.
We have
exciting.
to have him.
Yes.
He's a blast, because, and I knew to even ask him to be on the show on the first place, because you're probably like, but he's a stand-up guy. He actually does improv. A couple of years before the pandemic at Marble Bar, where he was regularly doing stand-up, he had an improv show there. And I was there, and it was Jason Jamerson, it was Tattoo Man Page, quite a few of us. And he killed it. And I was like, oh my God, Josh, he is an improviser. Yeah, he is an improviser. Let me just throw this in there. I'm all over the place, by the way. I have ADD. Let me throw this in there.
This is your show right now. You do
Okay.
your thing. Yeah, this is your show.
Let me throw this in there. Brett Soferino. So talented. He is a stand-up guy. But I asked to have him on to Hip Prov. He came on the last show just last week at Planet Ant. Why is he not an improviser? Why? No, seriously. I put him up there with, like, well, no, I won't say this. But, no, people will get mad if I say this.
No, say it.
Well,
say
no. I want to say Wayne Brady, but no, because you can't be a start-out improviser and then be with Wayne Brady. But I want to say it's because he's not that experienced as an improviser. But on the level of entertainment, as far as watching improv and not knowing what's going to happen, and the creativity and all the voices and accents that comes out of his body, and I mean, he sang a song when it was his freestyle challenge instead of rapping, and he sounded just like David Bowie. The impromptu acceptance speech that he gave when he won, and then he simply asked the audience, you want me to be a guy or a girl? And everyone was like, a girl. And he did a girl. It was like a Miss American pageant acceptance speech. I had no idea he had all of that in him. Amazing. Brett is like, when I have my next All-Star show, he's going to be on it. I just want to see it, because it blows my mind how some improvisers that I know are so funny. It's like, why aren't you also a comedian? You know, because of their one-liners. And there are also some stand-up comedians who don't do improv at all. And I'm like, why don't you do improv? He is such a gift to the stage. I just want to throw that out because my friend Cian, who's my sister in improv, she improvised with me at Comedy Sports. We talk about the show a lot. And we talked about Brett for 15 minutes the other day. She was like, oh my God, Tam. She was in that set with him. She performed. Great job, Cian. But it blew her away. He's incredible. If you guys do not know Brett Solferino, oh my God. Like, I don't talk about things like this except for food. Like, Brett, I love you, man. You are the bomb. Better than deep fried oysters, which is my favorite dish, sprinkled with hot sauce. I just wanted to say that.
Any lemon in there? Any lemon?
Lemon, a little bit of lemon, but not really because I put lemon pepper in with the batter.
Okay,
but
okay.
yeah, gotta have a little bit of hot sauce, but not too much because you want them to remain crispy. But Brett, oh my God, I just want to say that he is amazing. So yeah, just like Josh, amazing at both things, stand up and improv. I love the community and I love bringing them both together. I do, because you rarely see that.
So you've touched on this a ton of times, just the difference, but also the similarity. And you said that you started in improv and then you became a stand-up. How did that journey work for you? Okay, so I started improv classes at Second City when it was here in Novi. And that was after I took the comedy sketch writing classes that was at Second City right before they left Hockeytown and moved to Novi. And the only reason why I was introduced to Second City was because a friend of mine, Deanna Griffin, who's a mentor to me, she was a main cast member with Keegan Michael Key and the others when Second City was thriving here in Detroit. So that's how I was introduced to the scene. In our final graduation class for the conservatory program at Novi Second City, where we were all improv students who, through the course of the weeks, we took our improv scenes and turned them into sketches, right? I remember at home, there were times when I would think of funny jokes while I'm driving or something, and I would just write down jokes. And something just told me to ask our teacher, Kara Troutman. I said, teacher. I said, Kara.
Teacher.
Could you tell me I'm used to being in scenes? I said, Kara, I know we're just doing a sketch show, but can we take 5 minutes? And I told some jokes. I wrote some jokes. I think I could do stand-up. She was like, sure. And I didn't think she would say yeah. And I did. And now when I think back to those jokes, they were corny as hell. But the rewarding feeling of the audience laughing at me as I sit there and tell things that I thought of in my head, I caught a bug. That was 2009. I think I did one open mic after that. And then I stopped. I didn't do any improv because Second City left. I didn't do any improv or stand-up for 5 years. Ooh. 5 years. I was at home on the couch watching the Kardashians every night, blah, blah, blah. And then like friends were like telling me, they were like, Tam, you need to get back out there. You're funny. We enjoy watching you. Get back out there. So I got back out there, and then I went to Go Comedy, and pretty much a lot of the teachers from Second City were at Go, and so they let me take classes again, but they were like, you don't have to start from the beginning. You can start from intermediate. Started intermediate, graduated, started joining some troops, started auditioning to be a part of the Resco, which is the resident company there, which happened, I think, in like 2016. So since then, I've been a regular cast member there. You can catch me on some weekends, on the weekend shows. So I would say around 2000, I would say a year after I got back into the classes at Go, I revisited the stand-up thing.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so that's when I started hitting some open mics. So I never took a class in my life for stand-up until recently when I shared the Mike Green classes with you, which talked a lot about the business side. Yeah. Thank you, Mike Green. He taught us about getting the best door deals, all of that stuff once you start working more. So that's my story. Didn't take classes, but I caught the bug, and I always remembered the laughter. And then after a few years of doing nothing, I just started open mics. Then you know what's next? You get a host position. Then you may get some feature positions. Then you go to the Laugh Fest and the different festivals, and then you just network. And then you're emailing bookers your 3-minute clips, your 5-minute clips, and then you hope to get that spot for a weekend at Ridley's. It's pretty much how it is for all of us. So that's just been my journey, and I really think I probably would not be able to say that Hip Prov has been a part of that journey if it was not for COVID. For real, because most pandemic stories, you hear them a lot. They're like, well, I did it. I started this cookie baking company because of pandemic. I couldn't do anything else. So it was because of COVID.
I mean, it's just, isn't that crazy how, it's, we never want there to be any tragedies at all. But it's crazy how so many good things can rise from the ashes of something so terrible. You know, but I think that really shows the resolve that certain people have. Yeah. Because a lot of people are still crippled by this, whether it's mentally or physically. But then there are those who are like, you know what? I got to take this horrible thing and turn it into something amazing. You know, and I have the utmost respect for anybody who is like, you know what, I'm going to forge on. You know, and for those who, unfortunately, again, who are mentally or physically damaged, my heart is with you.
Yes,
keep trying,
obviously,
keep pushing.
obviously.
Just keep on pushing. Look, massive success story right here. Trust me, you guys can do it, okay? I know you can.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to discount.
We understand that, but no, yeah.
But that was a bright point for me.
Good things can come from bad things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at me. I've got a podcast going on in my basement because I have good people around me. Yeah. By the way, it's not a basement. I live in a giant cardboard box, by the way. Yeah. So
Nice
if you
home.
hear any cars going by, it's because we're in a back alley right now. So
I've always heard when people talk about the difference between improv and stand-up, just from like a fulfillment sense or kind of scratching that itch, that, you know, in improv it's great to work with great people and to kind of feed off of that energy, but in stand-up it's great and also sometimes not so great because you are standing alone. So if you are funny, then you are funny, and if you are not, then you're carrying that weight. So when you're doing both and you're kind of living both worlds, do you naturally lean towards one over the other as far as a preference, or is it equal to you?
So I get, sorry, stand up. I love you, stand up, but I get way more joy out of doing improv. You guys can probably tell so far, like just sitting here, I'm just like, I'm like that, right? So when it comes to like coming up with puns or a punchline or like I'm constantly doing that all the time anyway in life. I'm making a joke out of the lady I see crossing the street like right now. That's just how I think. So I love sharing the stage, even if I'm on the stage by myself and I have to do an improvised monologue because someone gave me a character act. It's so much fun, but it's more rewarding to do stand-up because, again, that feeling of like some jokes I thought of, put it to pen to paper, and I thought it was funny, and I was right because now everyone's laughing. Not only are they laughing, the joy in their faces because whatever they're going through in life, I took them out of that for a moment, and then they come to you after the show and was like, oh my God, we loved you. You were so funny. And you're like, I'm getting all of this from a stranger because I just thought this one line was funny. Right. It still blows my mind. But it's rewarding because I think because you did the work on your own and you had to trust yourself. And we all know the risk of going out there alone because you might bomb, which is the downside of stand-up, because when you bomb with the crew, you're like, it was them, it wasn't me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you're like, we pat each other on the back. Well, it was all right, y'all. We have good ones and bad ones. But when you're by yourself, I'm sure you may have all felt this. When the show is over, you just want to duck out the back and go outside. But you got to get paid. You got to get your money, so you stay. But you're like, and I've even had bad improv sets where it's like, and I could have shared the stage with 6 others, but maybe I was the worst and I stuck out like a sore thumb. And it's like, I want to go out the back and leave. Oh my God, it's the worst feeling. We've all had those quiet drives on the way home where you didn't even turn on the radio. You're silent thinking about how you're done with stand-up. But then we had the drive home where we're calling all our friends. I killed it. You should have seen me. I was the host and I was better than him. Why didn't he have me headline? I was better than headline. What the hell? But like we've had both. It's like the flip side, the up and down. Speaking of up and down, I have to ask you guys this. I know I'm not the one asking questions, but this is the worst part of stand-up for me. Having a great set Monday night, killing it. Having that same set Tuesday night. Demographics still the same, age group still the same, everything, the same town. Bomb!
Crickets.
That is the worst, because you're at least make sense of it. You know what I mean? It's like nothing makes sense about it, and I hate it so much. I was just wondering, like, what's like the worst? That's the smallest part. That's the part I hate the most about, stand-up. That's the part that makes me feel very small.
Yeah, and I agree, and I've told the story on this podcast so many times, and I promise you I will get Keith Lennart on here at some point to describe that night I had in Davison where I was going to do a feature set for 25 minutes. I got the light at 20 minutes of my best material. The only people that made it sound was this little old couple who were like, mortified, because I had to drive to the venue and back from the venue with the headliner. Oh. And he spent his first 5 minutes tearing into me to get the crowd back on his side, and then I had to sit with him at his merch table.
Wait, were you friends, and was it like...
So Keith and I go back a long way.
Okay.
Like, Keith is a very awesome veteran comedian who booked me a lot as his feature, and on this one show, I just ate a giant steaming pile of shit, and yeah, that ride home sucked because, I was like, so hopefully that doesn't happen in Chicago next week, and he's like, yeah, I hope so.
Wow.
It didn't. It was a great show, but those bombs suck. You want to indulge us in any rough nights, Elena?
Yeah, and it really is. There's no other way to describe it. And people who haven't experienced it, like, I can see how it sounds so crazy on paper. Like, I'm doing 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, of the exact same words. And I love these jokes. And I only have so many different expressions, and I only have so many different movements. So I know it's at least similar because I record my sets and I listen back and I'm like, oh no, I said that the same way. And like Tam said, you could be in the same city with the same demographics, with the same approximate number of people in the audience and get entirely different reactions.
Yes,
And it will, at least for me personally, on more than one joke, it has made me crazy. Where I don't know what your writing process is or what your writing process is, but I am very audio focused. So I write a joke on stage at an open mic, I record it, I talk to myself in the car, I do it again at another open mic, I record it. I'm playing with the words in real time, but I'm listening back to it and then making my adjustments and then doing it that way because I don't do well pen to paper. But in doing that, once I've gotten it to a place where I feel good and I'll do it at a club or I'll do it at a real show, and then I can hear the reactions in the audio recording, I'm like, okay, and then it'll drop. And I will sit there and I will listen in what I imagine Daryl Bean's private thing. Like, I will try to get the best headphones I can. I'm like, this is a really old reference, like the Zapruder tapes. I'm like going back, like, okay, wait, did I cough? Did I stutter? Did I say it longer? Did I say it shorter? And there is no answer. There is no answer. And it has driven me absolutely insane on more than one joke. So
It's the weirdest feeling.
No, this is what makes it weird too. Because your definition of bombing can be only 25% of the audience laughing. Someone else's definition can be no one's laughing.
Yep.
How is it possible, though, that none of you laughed? Because if everyone last night thought it was funny, how come at least 17 of you don't? Something's going on, you guys. This is the Twilight
No,
Zone.
it was the
makes
witch.
no sense.
It was the witch I talked about that came to the Rusted Crow last night. That means my next set is probably gonna suck. I should have
It
poured
makes
water
no
on. I should have
sense.
poured water on you, witch. Please don't hex me.
Mike Jeter and I had a conversation about this, like early on when I first started doing comedy, and I asked him about that. He's like, Tam, don't worry about it. He was like, you know, because I said, Mike, did they get the memo? Did Tuesday night people get the memo? And he's like, you don't worry about it. You had bad nights, and you know that you're funny. You know that you're funny, and for some reason, it just didn't work for them. But they do not dictate your career. You know
That's
what I mean?
good advice. Yeah,
I mean, it would be nice if every crowd laughs, but you're just gonna, just like the Lions. Some games they're gonna win. Notice how I didn't say some games they're gonna lose. He's right, nice. Some games you're gonna win. It just might happen though. But you see my point.
Yes, exactly. And it's crazy though how we are all our own worst critic.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
and the craziest thing for me, before I got into stand-up comedy, I used to do mixed martial arts. I could say right now, bombing on stage is worse than getting your ass beat for 3 rounds. Literally, it's...
Wow.
Yeah, because you can at least say, okay, the guy was better than me.
Okay. Well, the audience was better than you.
Yeah.
They were better than us.
They trained harder that night. They ran the extra mile. So, yeah, but it's like, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I hate that more than anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we kind of tangented and went off of it, but
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
No, that's what we do here.
Coffee.
No, it's-
what we do.
My brain.
it's
I
all
apologize.
good. No, I just didn't want to lose the question because I'm going to piggyback it onto something else. So Justin had asked who is like a non-local, I won't say famous, but who is a non-local comedian that is on your wish list? And the follow-up to that is what is an attainable but seems kind of far out goal for Hip Prov?
Every time you ask a question, I'm just gonna. So I think we're on
Billy was doing the
5.
same thing. Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
yeah.
Okay. There's really no famous or non-local person besides 2 improvisers. That's Keegan Michael Key and Wayne Brady, because they are brilliant. I was oh my God, I just can't speak. I was fortunate to have and lucky to have Jamie Moyer. You all know who Jamie Moyer is? She's from Detroit. She's in LA now. You've seen her many places, like
I've heard the
Modern
name.
Family,
Yeah.
different. So talented. She's I apologize to anyone who taught me improv, but of all my teachers, everyone knows this anyway. Jamie was my favorite. She was my favorite as far as workshops, teaching, everything. So I was lucky to have her because we had a teacher's edition episode when it was pandemic, where we had my mentor Deanna, who introduced me to this scene, the one I mentioned earlier, Jamie Moyer, Pete Jacobs. Oh my God, who was the 4th person? Oh, Mike McGettigan, like our teachers and directors in the community who are very skilled. So we had them on. So anyone else that I wanted on and couldn't have yet is those 2, Keegan Michael Key, Wayne Brady. Just to watch them do improv, you're like, wow. And every improviser, that's, how a lot of comics look at Dave Chappelle and, they're like, I want to be like that, or Bill Burr or whoever's their top. I want that delivery. I want to be that smart. I want to be that funny. So most improvisers, when we see those cats, we're like, I'm seeing cats like I was born in the 60s. Okay, when we see those cats, we're like, that's the level I want to be on. Like, oh my God. So yeah, hopefully I could grow in a way where I can get folks like that. You just...
Well, Keegan or Wayne, if you're watching, if you're one of our 9 subscribers, I suggest you reach out to Tam right now.
Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of people like that, the big stars cost money. So that's why you have to grow. You grow, you get more sponsors. Can I thank my sponsors of this show?
Oh my God, yes. It's
Good
it's
Helpers,
your time.
Kip Fowler and his men at Good Helpers Heating and Cooling. Kip has been with us since day 1, episode 1, season 1, and when we were virtual, and still with us. John McCaffrey of John McCaffrey Realty. You know John McCaffrey. You guys know John.
Yeah.
He's the newest sponsor of the show, and this is a full circle moment. Because when I first started doing stand-up, John booked me more than anyone else. I've been in a lot of his shows. I've been on so now he came to me like, Tam, I want to sponsor. I'm not really producing shows anymore, but I want to sponsor your show. Thank you, John. Sarah Young, who we all know, SYS Etching and Engraving, making the cool mugs, glasses, coasters, and stuff for our event. Makers Mark, who's our partners, who help us, with all these really cool gifts we're able to give to people, and. Yeah, I'm grateful.
Oh, yeah. Gracie's Good Nuts, right? Was
Say that
Sarah's
again?
nuts?
Sarah's nuts.
Yeah, Sarah Young's nuts.
What?
She makes nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes nuts, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like a transgender conversation.
No,
for a minute.
yeah.
Okay.
Gracie's Good Eats.
Yeah, Gracie's, they're like nuts, yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, they're
So
delicious.
she does like cinnamon sugar, almonds, and walnuts, but it's not sugar. It's she used like monk fruit.
Yeah,
sugar,
yeah.
And so they're
How
like
come I don't know
healthier.
this?
They're good. Yes, Sarah Young does have nuts, but not the way you're thinking.
This is what's funny. Gracie's Good Eats sounds familiar. I think that name follows me on Instagram, but I didn't know it was her.
Yeah.
How come I don't know this? I keep covering.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah. That was hilarious.
And knowing's half
You're like,
the
wait a
battle.
minute, Sarah's
Nuts,
nuts.
what?
Like, oh my God. You mean Sam Young? No, not Sarah Young.
Sam Young.
Yeah, but no, Sarah's great. Yeah, she's also a real gem of the community here.
Sarah, okay, first of all, let me apologize, you guys, because
Why?
Because I think probably of all the guests you had, I'm the most high wired.
No
That's
apologies.
just my personality.
No
I'm like,
apologies.
I think it's because I grew up the only child and I had no one to play with, so I needed to entertain myself.
No,
I
again, this is your time to shine. Do your
okay.
thing.
I want to say Sarah Young, Scott Veland, who's a new comic. Oh my God, Jason and his wife, Jason Filan. Is it Maris or Maris? Maris?
Oh,
I know it's not
and I
Maris.
was
He
not
just goes
going
for
to say.
Mars.
Yeah.
Mars, okay.
Mars,
Mars now,
like the
but it's
planet Mars.
Mars.
Yeah.
So, and I may be forgetting a couple others, but you talk about the support in the community. They're showing up at everyone's. Chances are, if you have a show, they're in the audience.
Yep.
I love that. Like, I just love that.
Yeah, you really feel the love.
They
yeah.
really support. Yeah. And Sarah brings her husband. I don't know if she's dragging him. He wants to tell me how that is. But he's there too. And I'm like, that is so cool. They're supportive.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I ever met you was the night that I met Sarah's husband. You came to the Crow to watch her perform.
I came to support her and Robert
Yes.
Horton.
Yep. Yeah, which was an amazing show, by the way.
It was.
Yeah,
Because don't tell me, I know his name because I just saw him perform. He closed out for a Ben Cheeks show. Oh my goodness, who did you have as the headliner? Nick
Laydorf.
Nick
Laydorf. Yes,
yep.
yes.
Who currently, I don't know if it will be at the time that this drops, but currently has the #1 comedy album on iTunes.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, he's killing it again. Yes.
It just dropped 2 days ago, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Hit #1.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very funny
Free
guy.
consultation.
Yes.
Nick Laydorf, get it.
Download
Get
it. It is, the man is a genius.
I met him for the first time. I haven't heard his name a lot until this year. But a lot of times you don't recognize hearing a name a lot till you meet that person. So that
Right.
makes sense
Yeah.
because I met him at your thing.
Yeah, he's a great comic
Which,
out
by
of
the way,
Lansing.
he's from Lansing. And speaking of Lansing, shout out to, isn't Robert Jenkins in Lansing?
Yes, he is,
Nicole
yes.
Melnick, all those folks. Isn't Nicole Lansing?
Is she in Lansing?
Nicole is in Lansing, and she was voted last year
Yep.
Lansing's best comedian.
That's right, because that was one of her credits when I introed her
Yep.
on
Yeah.
Hip Prov. She was funny on Hip
Yes.
Prov. Shout out to the Lansing folks. But what I wanted to say, and I forgot. Okay, we're gonna do how many
bringing
times I
back
forget what I was
Max.
going to say. We're here. Okay. Oh, one of the best stages ever, because we talked about Rusty Crow. I have my favorite stages. I love that stage with the instruments on the wall behind you.
Yeah.
It's the bomb. I just wanted to say that.
Everybody loves it. Yeah, like everybody walks in like, oh my God, this is so cool. And again, that's just, even if you are not a fan of comedy, and if you're not, fuck you. If you want a good cocktail, the Rusted Crow has the best vibes. Shout out to Brandy and her crew who make amazing cocktails there. Really cool vibes. Always a
Cool
great
space.
time. Yes.
And you get a tour sometimes.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, to say, hey, I want to see where you distill the whiskey or the rye,
Yeah.
and they will show you. Now, speaking of cool spots that have good drinks or eats, you are a foodie, correct?
Why? Well, I mean, what makes you say that?
Because you love
The
fucking
fact that
food.
you,
Yes.
like 10 minutes ago, went through this whole thing about lemon pepper
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
butter with
exactly.
the fried oyster. Don't try to...
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me a foodie. I really take that word seriously. Like I wish I were a foodie. But I'm not. I just love to eat.
Well, I love to eat as well.
Well, the
Yeah.
reason why I panicked because I feel like you're going to ask me a question only a foodie can answer, and I'm not going to have the
No,
answer.
no. It's more of an advice question.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna ask you like, okay, like what ingredients go on that? No.
No,
I'm so
like,
happy that this is being recorded because I want you to see the look on your face
Yes.
when you were like,
Yeah.
no!
Yeah.
Because my biggest fear is that people, and it's like, well, why do you
Yeah.
do improv if you have this fear? But my biggest fear is someone asking me something I don't know the answer
Oh
to.
no. And by the way, I'm not gonna ask you about Sarah's nuts again. So
Okay, please.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, what are some really good like hidden gem spots around here to get food? I know that you're a big coffee lover. Like, what's the best spot in your opinion to go get a really good cup of coffee?
Oh, well, where we were last night for my Sip Prov event,
Mm-hmm.
Detroit Sip. That's on 6 Mile near Livernois. Giovanna Fudge is the owner. It's a cool spot. There's a Detroit mural above where the barista works. There's some art. It's a cool, cozy place. That's why I chose it to have my fundraiser
Mm-hmm.
event for for Detroit Creativity Project. The Congregation, which is in the Boston Edison area, that used to be a church many years ago, and now it's like a bar/cafe where you can go
Very
and
cool
you can do
stuff.
the Starbucks thingy where you do the, you're on your laptop working, or you can meet friends there. They have the best Cobb salad in town. That's my favorite like coffee spot too. Hidden gems, I'm behind on that list because all the pop-ups, the restaurants that are popping up now,
Yes.
you can't keep up with. And I am so behind on discovering these gems. But I can tell you my favorite places. I love Pinky's in Royal Oak, 11 Mile in Maine. It's a girly place. It really is Pinky. The bar, behind the bar, it looks just like a dollhouse. There's these big eyeballs with beautiful lashes on the wall as art. There's a butterfly mural where on your way out, you and your girlfriends can stand in front of it with the wings, take picture. They have like this cotton candy drink where they cotton candy in a martini glass, and then they pour the liquor in there and it dissolves. The way they serve you cotton candy for dessert, if you want cotton candy, it's like a mannequin's head. And then it's like a big Buffon style. You know the movie Hairspray? Kinda
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
The cotton candy is on the head like hair, and you're eating from it. If you have a bunch of girlfriends and you want to get out and get dressed cute and go, you can sit on a patio when it's warm out. or you can sit inside. It's such a cute,
And that's
girly
the one
place.
upstairs.
Upstairs,
at
yep.
11 in May. Okay.
Yep.
Your excitement, you are a foodie.
Oh,
no,
love
yeah, see,
food.
I could tell, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
see.
I do love food. Like
Yeah.
oh my God.
See, but again, like, this is what I wanted to have, like, good, because I have never heard of Pinky's before, so I'm going to gather all my girlfriends and go there soon.
Oh, and the block. Okay, the block, which is on the same block as the Garden Theater, not far from Magic Stick and Majestic Bowl, on Woodward. It's called the block. It has these really cool letters, too, that says block, and they light up. That's my favorite brunch place. One of my favorite brunch places, because on Saturdays and Sundays, I haven't been in a few months. I hope they still do this, but they have DJs playing music Saturdays and Sundays. I love their crab cakes with the scrambled eggs and the potatoes, and their cheesy jalapeno grits.
passion.
Their
See
shrimp
this?
grits. Oh, their mimosas. Oh my God, they introduced me to pineapple mimosas. Most people are used to orange juice mimosas. Oh, not only that, the pineapple, it has like muddled strawberries in it. I don't know if they discontinued that for good or not. The last time I went, they didn't have that. They had the blackberry and passion fruit, which were also good. Okay, I'll stop.
No, keep going. This is great.
just
Again,
love
like, see,
food.
this is why I wanted to ask you, because I know you have a passion for it.
I love food.
So, you mentioned,
I love to eat.
You
Okay.
mentioned seafood, right? You're a fan of
My
oysters and
favorite
crab
food
cakes.
in the world is seafood,
Okay.
and my favorite dessert is funnel cake smothered with a lot of powdered sugar, just in case you asked that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So speaking of seafood, one spot that I kind of want to shout out, because I went up north a few times this past summer, and if you ever go to the Upper Peninsula, obviously you're gonna hear about fudge and pasties, but the whitefish up there, the fresh whitefish is amazing. The best whitefish is Lake Superior Brewing Company in Grand Marais.
Okay.
I'm talking, when I ordered it, the guy's like, it might be a minute, we're still skinning it.
Oh.
Oh my God, it was so good. Absolutely amazing. I went there and I was like, dude, like, just because the whitefish was so good, I bought a growler beer as well. So if you want fresh whitefish, Lake Superior Brewing Company in Grand Marais, amazing seafood.
Okay.
You got
Thank
any good seafood spots that you like, Alana? Are you a seafood person? Or is that a...
So, Tam,
That's
Are
a
you
no!
allergic to it or you don't like it?
no, I was raised very much like fish stick
Oh, my-
household. So, like,
no,
that's...
we need to open your eyes.
Yeah, so I just get
The
like...
expressions are awesome. I love this.
It's fun. I will say I am much better now than I was when I was younger, but I'm still not.
Wait, so you went
I'm
from the
not
Gordon's
there.
fish sticks to the Gordon's fillet? Like, what do you mean you're much...
Yes. No, like I can do like I can sort of do some white fish. Like I could do like a broiled cod. It doesn't have to be breaded and deep fried.
Okay.
I could do like a sea bass. I like that. But when I kind of go outside of that, I'm still baby stepping it.
Have you ever had salmon fried in cornbread? Fried salmon.
Oh, yes,
Listen.
it is.
We can't talk about food.
Okay, actually,
can't.
that
Okay.
that reminds me of something right now that I'm thinking of right now. Okay, for anybody who watches or anybody who's a friend of mine on Facebook, I recently tried some everything bagel ice cream.
Okay, now this I could talk about.
Okay, I actually have ice cream upstairs that has everything bagel flavored.
I saw a post. I
Yes.
remember. That's disgusting.
No,
No,
it's good.
it's
It is
delicious.
good. Yes, it sounds weird. It is good. My mother hated it.
Give me an example of one. Like, is that the flavor or has different flavors in
So
different brand?
the way that I can describe, so the brand is Jenny's. Jenny's ice cream is
Oh,
amazing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but one of her flavors is everything bagel.
Okay.
And honestly, in my opinion, it tastes like a lemony poppy seed with like a salted cream cheese. Like there's a lot going on, but it works.
Because I immediately thought about the strawberry cream cheese to make sense of it. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was such, when they first released it, I think it was 2 years ago, it got such coverage. They ran out, they couldn't keep it in the stores or anything. And so then they decided to bring it back. And I had heard about it, and everything bagels are my favorite. And I had heard about it. I love ice cream. So much so that I went online, because I couldn't find it anywhere near us, and had to order a pint, but you could only, like, you had to buy 4 of them. So
That's how they get ya.
I spent like $60 on ice cream just to try this one ice cream. And I had a very similar reaction. I was like, I'm not going to get all 4 of them for this
Okay.
flavor because it's probably going to be gross. But it is just when you look at an everything bagel, you got the garlic flake, you got the onion, you've got the sesame seed, you've got the poppy seed.
Did you say garlic?
But it works.
No.
I'm telling you, it
Okay.
works.
Yep. So they put all of that in like the cream cheese flavored ice cream. So when you eat it, it does have that like cream cheese flavor, but you still get, they call it the gravel of the everything bagel. So all of those crumbs on the outside.
But
of
the
the
garlic
everything-
part is what I can't probably imagine.
But it's just like, see, I didn't even like taste the garlic.
Okay.
But still, it was really, really good. But with you mentioning funnel cakes, Daryl, can you look up and see, does Jenny's have a funnel cake flavor ice cream? I want to say they do. It's
like
J-E
Carnival something.
Yeah, it's like Jeni ice cream. So yeah, if you want to take a look at that.
I mean, look at me. Of course I can.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'll give
But-
you my VIP code if you want to get it.
Yeah, but yeah, Jenny's ice cream is really, really good.
Is it like a high end, like very expensive, like one of the most expensive ones?
It's like $9.99 for a carton, but every kind I've had is good. I like the blackout
$9.99.
chocolate. Oh, but it's good. I've also got Faygo peaches and cream ice cream upstairs as well.
Yeah, and shout out to Rebecca, and I always screw this
Concepcion.
up. Thank you.
I
because
think.
We
That's what I've always been saying.
Yeah.
because I always I want to put so much like oomph on it, but in my order. Jenny's did a partnership with Dolly Parton, and if you know Rebecca,
Yes,
you know she
she-
loves
yes.
Dolly Parton. And they did a partnership for strawberry pretzel pie. So it was this flavor that they did
God.
just for Dolly Parton. But they had, when I ordered it, they had this poster that came with it. So it was like a cartoon Dolly Parton with strawberries and pretzels and all over. And I was like, oh, Rebecca needs to have this.
Every time I see something in a store that has anything to do with Dolly, I'm like, I think of Rebecca.
Yep.
Yeah, so the official answer is there's Bombastic's Sundae Cone ice cream from
Okay.
Jenny's that has waffle cone chunks.
Similar,
Ooh, that
but yeah.
sounds good.
I mean, I could have swore though that they had like, I mean, maybe I was drunk one day, I don't know, but like,
They also kind of, they do kind of come in and out with the
Yes,
flavors.
that's very
so
true,
it could
yeah.
be something that they had at one point,
Yeah.
but they don't anymore.
I love sweets. And like every time I go to Westport, I'm like, there's like 900 ice cream flavors, and I'm like, I freeze
Oh, that
up.
makes sense. Westbourne, $9.99 a carton.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Those
But
prices.
it is good though. Their cookies, fresh cookies, amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. You get them hot and fresh, and it is, see, now I'm
yeah.
going to get all,
So the thing that I don't know if you know about each other that I know about both of you
Uh-oh.
is that
Secret
not
time.
only
Here we go.
do you love sweets and talking about food and everything, but Justin is a runner and runs marathons, and Tam does. I don't know. I won't say a lot, but I just know from watching on Instagram and stuff.
Oh, exercise?
That face. What is up with those faces?
I feel like you're about to tell me something that even I didn't know. You're talking about, okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to talk about some of the, we were talking about places and kind of gems. Tam does a lot of like outdoor exercises, whether it's yoga or dance or
Yeah.
kickboxing, all of that stuff. What are some of the places?
I'm obsessed. I discovered this a couple of summers ago during the pandemic, where a lot of the gyms in the summer, especially because we had to be outdoors, they would put on classes free. So there's really no one can really say, I can't find a free yoga class. I can't find a free kickboxing class. Where can I find a hip hop cardio class? Everywhere. So like that one coffee place I told you about, Congregation, maybe out on their lawn. The DIA will have something out on their lawn. Downtown, under one or two of the sheds in Easter Market. Free kickboxing class, Zumba class, weekly classes, yoga, different instructors, even Natalie Rox's fiance of one of my favorite improvisers, Bob Wick. Hey, you guys, she teaches yoga. Haley Z, Ryan Brown's wife, Ashley. Thank you, Ryan and Ashley, for coming out to Hip Prov last night. She teaches hot yoga, but in the summertime, I took one of her classes out, and it was like a Royal Oak Park. We were out under the hot sun. Free classes, like they are everywhere. Cycling, downtown where they had the roller skating rink. In that same complex, there were like free cycling classes, free boot camp classes. Sometimes classes you have to hurry up and sign up because they have limited space. Sometimes not. Like anyone can just come. Beacon Park, Campus Marshes, glow in the dark kickboxing that I did. You name it. Just so because I think especially for yoga, I'm not a big yoga fan because you see how fast I talk and how so it's hard for me to concentrate and meditate. But it's something about laying on that grass under the night sky, you know, when you're in corpse pose and you look up and you see the birds and the clouds. It's the most beautiful thing. Like I love outdoor workout way better than any indoor. Nothing against the gym. I even have a gym membership, and we can't really do the outdoor stuff now that it's cold. But when summer comes around, I love telling my friends about it. I built some bonds on it. When COVID first started, it would be me, Melanie Hearn, T-Barb, Heather Kyles. We would take our bikes and ride all the way down to Quinder Cut till we get to the water, and then we'll ride all the way down to Cobo Hall and come back. Heather Sanal, I've done some workout classes with her. Kara and Karachi, she and I both took a kickboxing class on the Fox Theater's stage.
Wow.
Right. We haven't done comedy on there yet, but we worked out.
Oh, yep,
and
yeah.
it was a free event.
You were on stage at the
we
Fox
were on
Theater.
at the Fox.
If anybody ever asks you, I was on stage at the Fox Theater.
And I was killing it with
Yes.
the punch, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the opportunities. I don't know about other big cities, but Detroit has that on lock as far as outdoor workout. Even stuff for senior citizens, for kids. They have the mommy and baby yoga. It's crazy. So yeah, I thought you were going to tell me a secret I didn't even know.
But yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I have 2 treadmills and I never use them. One of them because I didn't read the fine print. The first treadmill I ever bought is like a rehab treadmill for people who can't run. It's a self-powered walking one.
Oh, wow.
And when I got it and put it together, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Did you get rid of it?
No, I still have it actually.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to run it, the faster yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the other one, a buddy of mine gave me, thank you, Greg, for the treadmill, but even if it gets cold, I like being outside. I will bundle up. Blizzard, I don't care. I will bundle up. I will wrap up. I will run. I love being outside. The fresh air. I mean, I love my running group. Shout out to Run DTP. Congrats to all the folks there who did the half marathon or full marathon this weekend. I didn't.
I saw that.
I didn't feel like doing it. I just didn't feel like doing it, But, I still run all the time. Ran today, so. Yeah.
It's funny. I hate running a distance. I could stay on the treadmill forever. But running, why? I don't know why they're different, but to me, it's a mental thing. I think because I can watch CNN while I'm running.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. But running a distance, oh my God, I hate it. Can't do it. So
Love
more
it.
power to you guys.
Love it.
Yeah. I'll probably get winded after 2 blocks. But I can stay on the treadmill, no problem. And I just can't figure out what the difference is.
It's all mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is me. I need to be able to see different things and visualize.
Okay, yeah.
And plus, too, there's always the little bit of element of danger. There's a big mean turkey in Plymouth that we see him sometimes. No, sometimes we see him on our runs. I'm like, holy shit, there's a turkey,
Right.
and he knows I'm afraid of him. And so he'll puff up and start I'm like, dude, holy shit, run faster. That turkey's a bastard.
Oh, man.
Thanksgiving's coming up, so
Yes.
just watch your ass, buddy.
Don't put any gravy on that funnel cake. Just powdered sugar only.
Lots of powdered sugar.
Between that witch and that turkey, I'm scared for you.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Scared
enemies
for
right
you.
now. I got a lot of enemies piling up. I got people gonna make hexes. I'm a wanted man, I guess.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it is what it is. That's the life that we live. So speaking of things that are wanted, I know Elena talked about it earlier about some future plans you have, and possibly even being on the Fox Theater. Are there any venues around here right now, or any comedy spots that you really want to get on that you haven't yet?
No, and I only say that because the way I look at it, I would like to be everywhere I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't look at it as I really want to be there. I'll take whatever. And by say I'll take whatever, I know that sounds like a person that goes somewhere and they want everything bagel ice cream and they don't have it. They're like, I'll just take whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't mean it to sound bad like that, but meaning every place I can be is important to me. So last night we were in the coffee shop doing the fundraiser with Hip Prov and Detroit Sip Coffee Shop, and called it Sip Prov. That meant a lot to me, being a really cool coffee shop in the city, bringing the idea of improv to the community. The owner, she was there. She even participated in a couple of games, and she said, I never even knew what improv was. I didn't know it was like that. And my mom still thinks improv is Saturday Night Live. I'm like, no, Mom. That is a sketch. It's different. I went with a friend some years ago. I took them to Second City in Toronto, and then they were like, oh, yeah, this is very impressive. impressive. It's as if they practiced it. I said they did practice it. This is not improv. This is sketch. So it's for a lot of people who don't really get into the scene, it's either stand up or it's all that other crap. And then they put improv and sketch and everything all together. But it's two different things. So wherever I can be, I would love it. You know, of course I want to grow. Of course I get so excited, you all. Like I said, the way we talked about it over there about how my brain works. How you asked me how did I come up with Hip Prov. And I'm like, well, I was in a coffee shop and they had a stage and I thought I could do something here. And then I was like, oh, it's called Detroit Sip. Hip Prov. Oh my God, let's call it Hip Prov. But then I wrote that down and tabled it for like 4 months, and then I reached out and then got my sponsors together and I'm like, let's do this. So that's just how my brain works. And whatever comes out of everything that I could think of, whether someone added to it or took away from it because we're not ready for that yet, every little thing I do is a step further. That's how I look at it. You know, and as long as I don't go backwards, even if I just stay where I am right now for the next 6 months, where, well, geez, Tam, you did Ridley's, you did such and such, so when are you going to get such and such? And I'll be like, well, we'll just have to see. So I'm grateful for what I have, because like I said, I didn't think any of this. I still can't believe that people put on clothes, get in their cars, and drive to a place where they take their money out and buy a ticket for something that I produced, came up with, created, cast, host, run. Do you understand? Like, I can't believe it.
I mean, if there's anything to say about you, you are extremely passionate. Like, honest to God, like, that is the one word right now that just comes to mind when you is super passionate. And I honestly wish more people had that kind of passion. Yeah. And that passion, obviously, is what is driving you to be so successful.
Thank you.
Yeah, now that's, obviously,
I really think it's the timing. I got divorced this year. So I just needed to drown myself in creativity. A lot of us, when we go through things, so I lost myself in all of it. And I told you, I think it's the timing. God just threw all these things at me like, okay, Tam, you're going to do this. And now I'm at a point where every day I get at least 2 messages in Messenger where I have to tell them no. And this may be a person that 2 years ago couldn't wait for them to reach out to me. But now it's no, because I simply don't even have the time.
Yeah,
I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. It's amazing. And I got another opportunity, a message the other day, which I can't say, but it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But it's like, I can't believe this. This is something I can't say no to, but now I know I got to make time and maybe scale some other things down. But I really think that this year, all this stuff came at me because of what I was going through. I really do believe that. I believe in the timing of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timing, again, is a part of it, but do not underestimate how passionate and hardworking you are. Again, yes.
How I'm grateful for everything.
Because not every person would take that timing or opportunity and run with it.
Yeah.
Some people would be like, whatever, I'm not going to put clothes on and go to a show. I'm just going to sit here at home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you've put in the work, and again, it definitely shows. 100%.
So I think what Justin is saying is thanks for putting clothes on.
And I wasn't going to.
Yeah, me either. I was like,
I mean, you could have just lowered my seat, like right here. We would have been good. Or I can just position these just
black
right.
bar. Yeah. Do we have the ability to do that, Daryl? Like black bars? I would actually prefer the old school, like where you blur it out. So you can kind of see what's there.
I like the blur,
You have a barrel upstairs. We could just put that.
Yes! Oh my God, that will happen on a future episode, and I will not mention it at all. I'll just come here in a barrel and sit down and be like, so anyway, you had a great night at Mark Ridley's. Yeah. Oh, you're giving me ideas, man. You're giving me some crazy ideas. Yes, and I've got a lot of weird shit in my house, so yes. The cow head upstairs.
Don't go any further, really.
Yeah, that's true. Like, oh my God! Like all of a sudden we get flagged on YouTube. Then I gotta knock at the door. Yeah.
Or we'll get a lot more subscribers, but not the people we want.
Absolutely, yeah.
The cow head in a barrel upstairs.
Absolutely.
The numbers is what matters. The numbers.
Yeah.
It is.
We're gonna be huge in the furry community. Which in the neighborhood I live in, I guarantee you, there's got to be a furry somewhere around here.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Elena, have you ever seen the guy that walks around wearing the full suit of armor, the knight's armor?
No.
You have not seen this guy?
No.
There's a guy that lives around here that wears a full suit of knight's armor. And people love him.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Yes. There was actually a big outcry on like the next door neighborhood app. and like, oh my God, there's like a guy in a suit of armor. What's happening? It's just a guy that he's like, hey, you know what? I want to make people happy.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to keep an eye out. Maybe
Yes.
he just doesn't cross the main road because we
Yes.
do have a main.
He
road
has his own
between us.
kingdom. He
Yeah.
has his own kingdom that he stays in. Yeah. So.
Can't cross, otherwise it's
Yeah.
I will
War.
have
Yes.
to start.
If he does
crossing
cross,
more.
then there's your next joke. Why did the guy in armor cross the road?
Yes, because he exists and he lives near me. I mean, I've talked at
that's
length about some of
fantastic.
my weird neighbors here. Like, you guys may not know this, but I have a gentleman in my neighborhood.
Johnny Bananas.
Johnny, his name is Johnny B, but we call him Johnny Bananas because he puts free bananas on everyone's door.
Oh my goodness. It's better than putting it in your tailpipe.
That's very true. But
appreciate it.
he just gives away free bananas, and he's a nice guy, but he used to write messages on them sometimes. Like, next, I'm like,
Next.
yes, like I'm next. What? Yeah, the bananas you saw on my counter, Johnny B brand free bananas.
Next sounds like a threat.
Exactly.
does.
Yeah, like eat these bananas or else, or you eat these, you will be next. So
I want Johnny Bananas to fight the night guy though.
yes, I know.
Like,
Yeah,
I want to see that battle happen. Like, because I can't decide if his attack is going to be like stand back and throw the bananas,
Mm-hmm.
or if he's gonna be like using it like a sword. Or
I think you guys, you should entertain that idea. You should have something either in your backyard, in your home, schedule the fight, call it the fight night party, but spell it night with a K.
yeah. Oh, see, look at that right there. The
Yep.
creativity.
See, yeah, that's how my brain
Yes,
thinks.
exactly. Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe he just throws like banana peels.
that's
at
my
the
thought.
slips,
Because
balls,
his field of vision will be very small,
Like,
and Johnny will be like,
wow.
all I have is a banana. I'm helpless, and then whoa, he slips and falls, and then at that point he shoves the banana down his night
Yeah.
mask,
Okay.
and he chokes him out with the bananas,
Yeah.
and then he goes and puts the bananas on his widow's door and says, "Here, compliments to Johnny B."
next.
What the hell? do
This
you
is
go-
how movies are written. What we just
Yeah.
did, really. That's how sketches happen.
Yes.
And everything, really.
I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen Lamageddon. That's it.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love my neighborhood. I love the people. But there's just weird people. I'm sure people talk about me. Like, there's that weird guy again.
Oh, I know people are going to talk about me on here because I'm like, that girl, I think she's on crack. She's so hyped up. Like, yeah, I know. And I apologize for that because I
No,
just
no,
felt
no.
like I was so like this the whole
No,
time.
no.
But
We
that's-
high energy is
and
good.
that coffee did not
We
help.
put crack in the coffee.
Jeez,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
That strong ass Starbucks.
That's not
Columbia.
sugar. That is not
That was
sugar
not
over
sugar.
there. No. That's why Daryl took his black because he knows.
Yeah, I know better.
Yeah. The first time that he had a cup of coffee at my house, I had to call the police and get him off the roof.
That's how I
believe
know
it.
there's a barrel.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I think this has been great. Do you have anything else that you want to ask Tam while she's here? You got any other questions for her?
What's up?
What up,
Best
Shit,
question.
that's the callback to a joke I told. Which, by the way, Daryl, thank you for not deleting it. I still haven't downloaded, but I wrote it down on my paper today. Things to do to download the video from the show. I
got
still
it.
haven't downloaded. I paid you and still didn't download it.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me download it before I say, give me my money back. And he'll say, there's no money back. There's a no money back policy.
Oh.
Well, again, this has been a fantastic episode. But before we end, Tam and Elena, please thank anybody, plug any shows you got coming up. Get the word out. Get the word out.
And this is gonna be, you know what? Just follow me on all the socials at Gonzaleza, GONZALEEZA. All my stuff, dates and deets and everything will be there.
Okay, follow me at Tam White Comedy. Same here. I can't even remember a lot of the stuff because of old age. But like I know this weekend coming up, my first feature weekend at Detroit House of Comedy, which is opening for Amir K. A full circle moment for me because where I first took those sketch comedy classes I told you about, it was there at that theater, and our class show was on that stage, and now I'll be there telling jokes.
Please, when you see him, if I have no idea what he's like personally,
Okay.
I don't know how your relationship is gonna go, but if you could ask him if he has any tips about how his hair is so luxurious. This man, it is just
Yeah, I've seen it. Yep.
Oh, it is like he is a walking commercial. I don't understand how he just it's so shiny and luscious is really the word that comes to mind.
Luscious.
So,
Okay.
So yeah, any styling tips?
So instead of saying, you got any tags for my jokes, I'll say, do you use Pantene? That's what I do. Okay.
Yeah, he might even be like old school, like herbal essence. Like maybe that's what is bringing the joy to his hair. I don't know.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, I have a show. My next show is going to be Saturday, November 5th at Bearded Lamb Brewing Company.
That's my
in Plymouth.
birthday.
Is it your birthday? Wow. Well, happy
Yeah.
early birthday.
Thank you.
On that show, I've got...
Who's gonna be on that show?
I've
Justin?
got Greg Sharp, Cherry Ledbetter, I've got Mike Cronin headlining, and somebody else is on that show. I don't know. It's not. It's not. Yes, it's gonna be Alan Gonzalez something. No, I've got Elena Gonzalez.
Gomez.
She is gonna be on that show as well. Then I have December 3rd at 8 p.m. at the Rusted Crow, Bill Bouchard and Tyler Nissen. Then December 10th, back at Bearded Lamb, Bill Bouchard's headlining there again with Sam Rager as his feature. Then that's a killer.
Shut up. That's
then
gonna be amazing.
I have back at Bearded Lamb, January 14th, headlining is Cam Big Feather Row with Kate Brindle as his feature. So we got things working.
Well, let me finish my list then.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, what happened was we talked about Amir K's here.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
And then the following weekend, I'm at One Night Stands with Brian McCree, the headliner who's also going to be in Hip Prov that weekend. He's
Also
going to,
has great hair. What is
yes.
you?
And we have two gentlemen with locks in that same show. Jason Jamerson and Brian will be in that show. Okay? And then I'll be with Camro, Mike Jeter, and the guys for the Jokes on You comedy tour. Our next stop is at Pontiac at the Platte, November 2nd. And also, every fourth Friday at One Night Stands is Hip Prov. Every second Wednesday at Planet Ant is Hip Prov. And we have a Halloween show coming up October 30th. Best costume was a cash prize. Hip Prov show at Freddy's in Clinton Township. And then don't forget the big all-star show at Mark Ridley's December 21st. And then for all the other dates, look me up. Oh, and I'll be in Traverse City the weekend of my birthday with Ed Hill from Canada.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, and Justin Paddock just asked me to for Sandbar. He asked me to headline Sandbar November 16th.
Very
Okay,
cool.
I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
No,
Keep
because I
going.
can't remember the rest. So just follow Tam White Comedy.
Follow Tam White Comedy. Well, this has been an amazing episode. Tam, you have been a wonderful guest. I love your energy. Thank you so much for filling in and giving us an amazing co-host. And I'm here as always. Tough luck you got me here. Whether you love me or hate me, I'm always going to be here. Again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again.